Hey y'all, and we back. Now close the screen door. Start letting all them flies up in here. Now y'all know I keep bringing up Clyde Davis because P Diddy is the little man. He is the little green giant, and he committed a whole lot of things. Maybe I should say he created a whole lot of things that got out, okay? But I really want to get into Clyde Davis and I want to hear what he has to say about Whitney Houston. See, y'all got to remember this where it came from. It came from it came from him. Him. Okay, let's check this out.
Well, there had been a documentary and there had been a television movie. Both were wanting. Both did not capture her soul, her dignity. They didn't capture everything everybody wants to know about her.
I had to rewind that because I didn't hear him what he said. Okay.
Movie. Both were wanting. Both did not capture her soul, her dignity. They didn't capture everything everybody wants to know about her. And most importantly, they didn't capture the music. They didn't capture those great songs. They didn't capture that voice that defined the generation that was indeed. She's the greatest contemporary that authentically, honestly, and the music soars. Yeah, very impressed. Before we met, he had read my autobiography. He had seen my documentary on Netflix. And then we did two Zooms, and I flew up to Boston to meet him person to person. Yeah. It's a funny experience, but when I saw the film, I went with it. Yeah. And I felt he is wonderful. Yeah, you got that goodly. It was at a club called Sweetwater's on the west side. She was background singing for her mother. She stepped to the microphone. She did two songs. One was Home from the Wiz. And then, startlingly to me, she did The Greatest Love of All. That, Jimmy, was a song I had personally commissioned 8 years earlier for the movie on the life of Muhammad Ali, the greatest. Yeah. And George Benson had recorded it. It was a top 10 R&B record. But coming to the microphone was this 19-year-old, stunningly beautiful singer. Yeah. And from the beginning of that song, she was finding more meaning in that song than even the composers, Michael Masser and Linda Creed, could have thought were in that song. The facts are that Kevin Costner suggested it to Whitney, David Foster, and me. We all agreed that that would be a great song for that airplane scene. And David sent me the first, right after Whitney sang it, he sent me the rough mix. And it was.
Wendy and Clyde goes back a long ways because y'all got to remember now, her mom was a singer. Now, her mom's song, her aunt's song, her cousin's song. And Clyde Davis right here know her since she was 19 with that beautiful, strong voice. Now, he's going to give y'all some information. Why he had that Grammy party. Oh, he had that Grammy party after Whitney Houston died. So they had allegedly had a sacrificial party after she died. A party after she died? Well, let's listen to this.
Personal thing. But the Grammys for the next night, you don't cancel. You turn an evening into a tribute. You did a magnificent evening.
Wow.
Did you give a thought to canceling? Never. You never thought. And the family did not want me to give a thought to Kent. No, no. Personal thing. But the Grammys for the next night, you don't cancel. You turn an evening into a tribute.
Wow.
Well, you did it. Did you ever think? And the family did not want me to give a thought to go. I didn't think it because I do write it in the book at length in the Whitney chapter about my spending time with her when the picture was inescapable. There were two times, one live where she came to my home where we had a personal, intimate conversation. And at that time, she didn't feel that she had a serious problem. She didn't admit to it, but she said, if you think I have a serious problem, it's way overblown in your mind. She was not ready. And you learn that the subject has got to sink to that level that they want help. Because the next year, she did sing. And the next year, I went to this Michael Jackson concert at Madison Square Garden, and she was almost a skeleton. And there I put in the book the letter that I wrote to her where I said, look, you've had faith in me from the beginning. She always would call me her industry father. This was more than a relationship. I said, but the faith in every song that you've recorded, we've worked on together, I found with my A&R staff for you. Have faith. The power of drugs is lethal and will overcome you.
Who gave it to her?
So I knew I did as much as I could. I do have to say that when she did her Oprah interview, she did give up drugs during that period. I always assumed post-Oprah that the only problem I had to deal with was her cigarette problem. That was what she always admitted was affecting the upper register. 3 days before she died, while we were in Los Angeles for the party, she came to my bungalow. She looked me right in the eye. She said, I am giving up cigarette smoking totally. Not just cutting back, cutting it out. I am ready to do an album. I will be ready by the month of
And she did it.
So it's tragic and
Wendy Williams, Lord. Whitney Houston said after the bodyguard, and she did this interview with Oprah 2009. This is what hold on, y'all. But saying this is the interview that I apologize, y'all. That this one she was doing well. And she was telling Oprah after the bodyguard, that's when everything went down on her. So let's listen to this.
95 was filled with the bodyguard years. Yes, yeah. That record, that album lasted me. It went for a long time. I was going huge. So I had my baby. Biggest ever. Yeah, my baby in one hand. Of my life I loved so very much, and I was crazy for it with me.
She has
It's
good
never
work.
like this, but yes.
She's the Whitney Houston told Oprah that Bobby Brown was jealous of her. And that can be, her death can come from anything now, especially her success. She don't got off of drugs. She don't want to do drugs no more. She want to sing. This is when she got her life together. And now he don't want her now since she don't got her life together, y'all. And she said that he was jealous of her success. You know how that goes. Y'all know.
Play down all the time. Yeah, I did. Mrs. Brown, everybody, don't call me Mrs. Houston. I'm Mrs. Brown. And trying to pull at us one wave to another, pull at me, pull at him, Did you start to?
Y'all, this right here was back in 2002 when she was on Diane Sawyer show. And Diane was telling her that her bones were showing. and is serious about her conditioning. And y'all got to remember that Clyde Davis is part of P Diddy boss man, and he knows that a lot of things comes with P Diddy. Okay, it's a lot of power behind all of them because those are leaders, and you got to realize that how she get like this, Bobby Brown, because we knew what Bobby Brown was doing. But listen,
I'm 5'7" and thin. I can understand what you mean. But that's not just. Diane, tell me. What you feel? I can believe that. But do you really know? Did you really know? No, you written it. No way. Bulimia. No way. That it's because of drugs. No. Times when I know I was going through a lot of emotional stress and my eating habits were awful. Whitney, one thing straight. Crack is cheap. I make too much money to ever smoke crack. Let's get that straight, okay? We don't do crack. We don't do that. Your crack is whack.
Death. Did you see that coming? Did you?
No, I didn't.
You had no idea it was that bad.
For years. Sheriff's, and she says, I have a court junction here.
hey y'all, this is Miss Sissy. Whitney Houston mother, she passed away. She's like 90 some years old. She lived a long time. She's a legendary. She could sing. That's where Whitney got her singing from, her mom. And she was just saying that a lot of people don't know nothing about her daughter and what was her daughter going through. Y'all didn't know, but yeah, this is her mom.
Domestic violence battery charge
This is
against
between
R&B singer Bobby Brown.
Bobby
The
Brown.
pressures of fame took a toll.
Hey, a bombshell just dropped on Ray J. He was on the Extra show, okay? And he was interviewed, and that look on his face, you know when he lying, when he put this look on his face, allegedly. Um, the guy said he wanted to see Ray J was so quickly ready to talk about that book. But when the interviewer brought up Whitney Houston name, he said, "Oh yeah, Ray J, you was with Whitney Houston one day before her death," and that's the look that Ray J gave him. Now let's hear what Ray J got to say on Extra.
Now, I know the rumors back in the day that y'all were hanging out, well, but what's the deal right now? We hang, you know, it's Grammy weekend, and she's in town, and we had dinner. You know, she's such an icon to where it reaches the masses. But, you know, we had a good time. We had dinner, that's it. So, platonic. Hey, there's worse people you can hang with. You know what I'm saying? So, how's she doing these days, by the way? She's doing good. Everybody's good, you know, and she's good.
Now he don't look right, do he, y'all? He can't even look the man straight in his eyes. He act like the guy told him something surprisingly. Like, I didn't know that was going to be part of the interview. But this is he before she passed. Why is she eating dinner with him the day before she passed, and she considered eat dinner with Bobby Brown, or even if she and Bobby Brown wasn't together? Why Ray J? You know what I mean? Why eat dinner with Ray J? And then I know y'all say, why not eat dinner with Ray J? But come on, this is Ray J, y'all. Come on. If it anything about Ray J, if she's not dealing with Bobby Brown anymore, that means that you know what time it is.
My family's good, you know, everybody's doing good. Good to hear. Yep. Sister, mom, and everybody. Yeah, everybody's doing good. Brandy's setting up a new song with Monica. They're gonna perform at the
crazy. But at the same time, a lot of people was turned off because she was big, and I was getting her right, but she was a little older, and her image in the past wasn't as solid as if I got with a Mariah Carey. Knowing that it's not right, knowing that I'm playing with her mind a little bit to get me
He played with her mind.
took me to really make it right with her. But do you understand what I can do? She would. I'm trying to tell you. Let me tell you, Whitney. Is she clean? Absolutely. Until lean, right? Until if I want her to be. Look at his track record. I mean, he pretty much ran the hip hop and music scene during the Death Row era. So a lot of people he know, and a lot of people he has been around. I can't vouch for everything because I'm not Suge, but I can just tell you, like, most of the time, Suge is saying something is coming from experiences. He's not like making it up, like he's writing Green Eggs and Ham. Like, this is serious. Did you hear me trying to tell Suge to be well? Okay, cool. I didn't know. Yes. I mean, you know.
Clyde Davis wrote this out, y'all. He said this is a completely fabricated threat. That's what he's saying. That is being trafficked by an incarcerated felon, Mr. Knight. Assertion about Clyde Davis are 100% false, as nothing of the sorts ever happened. Of course, Clyde Davis is going to say this. So, in other words, they trying to say that all the information coming from about Diddy is coming from Suge Knight. And say Clyde said Clyde is a mentor to P. Diddy. We know that. We talked about that. Remember, just remember what we speak about. Nothing new, okay? Clyde is a mentor to P. Diddy, and in keeping with this, never ever condone any such appropriate behavior. Do y'all believe it? Do y'all believe that this come out the horse's mouth? It didn't come out funny at the grandmama Lanita mouth.
Clive Davis, he's somebody that's inspired us all in the music game. And I think that in this situation, people are quitting. You see a lot of people stepping down from their executive positions in music. And I think a lot of people are tying that up with Diddy. We don't know exactly why everybody is quitting or why everybody's quiet. But I can say this, you know, a lot of celebrities in this power come from environments where they think certain ways of doing business, cutthroat, disrespectful, shady, chasing fast money, you know, these are normal because, you know, they saw their mentors do it. I mean, Diddy did it, even Suge, you know, and so even though they're learning on the fly, but they're also mimicking the executives above them that they learn from. So, you know, I think we have to break that cycle and keep following a new blueprint, and that's evolving instead of ending up in the same place, broken, bad relationships, in jail or worse.
Now, everybody know Jad Ward. Everybody know Jad. And you seen on social media a lot talking about the breakdown of what's going on in the industry. She been talking about it for years. She even know that Ray J was the last one who was with Whitney Houston. And I can't believe they was I think he wanted Whitney Houston money. And it wasn't that kind of relationship that he wanted. He was giving her what she want when she was trying to get off of it. He seemed like he was sent to her to keep her on it. Allegedly. Okay? Well, let's listen to this.
She's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the dealer in, but she was sober, right?
I've been through a lot in these past 2 weeks. I'm able to look at life in a whole different way.
She passed away. I promise you, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. And then I saw Ray J. And it all added up.
Now, Whitney Houston shared a secret letter with Brandy. And she gave it to Brandy. Clyde Davis' name come up in there. Even her brother name came up. Now, everybody came out with a book. Diddy wife passed before getting her book out. And what's his other rapper? He died before his book came out. But wait a minute. Clyde Davis is still alive. So, y'all, we're going to hear what he said about the cigarettes. He's not saying what's in those cigarettes. Is he calling marijuana cigarettes when he speak of Whitney Houston? Let's listen. To me, in other words, he trying to say that Whitney Houston, he don't care nothing about Whitney Houston allegedly, but I can hear the way he talked in his voice that he doesn't really care about her. He tried to keep that fame going, but when they in toss a lot of stuff, it does something to the women. See, that's what I was wondering. Did she pay her dues? That's what I was wondering. Cause he gonna bring it up.
If an artist breaks, you gotta pay justice to the pop stations, to the urban stations, if they're an African American artist. If you've gotta pay your dues. You gotta go to the UK, you gotta go to France, you gotta go to Japan, you've gotta go to Africa. She went everywhere. Break.
He said she went everywhere. So he said she did pay her dues. Let's get it correct. Let's correct something. He said Whitney Houston did pay her dues to Africa, and she went everywhere. That's what he said. Okay, so that was positive.
That affects the heart. My linking up with her on I Look to You was before any tour. I never wanted her to tour. I always, because the kind of stress on her voice would be difficult on that voice. I only believe Whitney should be Whitney, and that you don't trade on the memory of what she sounded like. So that after her Oprah interview, which was right at the beginning of promoting I Look to You, and let me back up a little. In the making of I Look to You, it took her a while to get in the groove to do that, but by the time we finished recording, I'm proud of the I Look to You album. I think it's a damn good album, and I think that, I was very proud of it. I was ready to launch it out of Los Angeles here in New York to present that. And proud of the album, $1 Million Bill with Alicia Keys, and I Look to You with R. Kelly, and she and I were both very proud of the I Look to You album that she had developed and couldn't deal with. After that was cigarette smoking.
Cigarette focus.
If you're not there with someone, you have to trust their judgment as to whether they're using or not. I believed that she had gotten drugs behind her after the Oprah interview.
So Clyde said that he thought that after that interview that she had no got off of them drugs. But you got to realize she messing with Ray J. It's gonna she what y'all call it? She went back and she started reusing it. Drugs.
The only discussions I ever had with her were based on cigarette smoking, where she admitted, I've cut back, but I've cut out drugs, I cannot seem to deal with cigarette smoking. And so that's when I said, I don't think you should tour if you can't give up cigarettes, because I want you to be able to use your higher register. And what you ever get until you give up cigarette smoking, because I'm not going to compensate for what you don't have. And that's what led to the very personal conversation I had with her.
So what y'all think?
She died, where she finally, in my bungalow, said to me, I am committed to cutting out cigarettes.
That's a very fine line, I love what I do. I love making music. I love that the people love what I do. Then there's a side to it that is a little more than one can take at times. There's a lot of demands made upon an artist who has a product out that you must support if you care anything about it at all.
You hear what she's saying?
And then there's on what, you know, your objectivity is, you know, and it's about music, you know, it's about
She can't
relating to
talk.
people who
She
love the
can't
music
tell.
by it. And if you keep that in mind, you know, it's worth it. You don't get sidetracked and get bitter. I always love you. And
Now, y'all, let me ask you something. It's got to be a Rico in this P. Diddy situation. Look at Ray J, y'all. At Wendy Williams. At Whitney Houston funeral. Touching the cast. Look at him. Like I didn't want her to do it. She wanted to do it. I got to put on a show. Let's look at him, y'all. Look at him. Do y'all think? Yeah, you. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about that? Since y'all think he was in the hotel, he was the last one with her, y'all. What were they? Them two were doing? Took that girl like they did. Look, look. Come on, Ray J. They bet they're trying to calm him down. Look at him. Oh, he don't. Then you have R. Kelly. He was at the funeral. At Wendy Houston funeral. Oh my gosh. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I hope y'all enjoy the content. We still didn't get no answer about what really happened to her. But hold on. Wait, before you go. We almost nearly to the end, and I want y'all to like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. If you like to donate to the channel, you can donate to my cash out, $LENITA, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed day, but we're gonna end it right here.
Caused the death of singer Whitney Houston. She was, of course, found dead in a hotel bathtub last month. On Thursday, coroner's officials said she drowned accidentally. Houston also had at least 5 different drugs in her system, and also, we learned, had heart disease.
5 different drugs in her system. They was taking her out of here. 5 different drugs in her system. Y'all heard it. I didn't make it up. Whoa. Let's hear that again.
We now know what caused the death of singer Whitney Houston. She was, of course, found dead in a hotel bathtub last month. On Thursday, coroner's officials said she drowned accidentally. Houston also had at least 5 different drugs in her system, and also, we learned, had heart disease.
Medical correspondent John LaPoke is here with a closer look. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I think we know that she had drowning, and they're saying she had atherosclerosis, which means that she had some clogging of the arteries and narrowing, and then she also had cocaine. The question is, how did they all combine to kill her? I think that the fascinating thing here is that somebody can have absolutely perfectly normal heart. She did, but a perfectly normal heart, and have cocaine, and it can kill them by causing spasm and increased clotting. And there's an amazing stat that I learned last night that just blew me away. If you take cocaine, the odds in the next 60 minutes of you having a heart attack go up 24 times, 2,400%.
Wow. And so what about the water in her lungs and that kind of thing that would indicate drowning?
Well, you know, one of the things, there's no camera there, so we don't know exactly what happened. And these pathologists, I don't really envy them, have to try to piece together this story. So you get water in your lungs if you're breathing. So how did she get water in her lungs? Well,
Right.
she either had a heart attack and slipped into the water, and she still had a few breaths, and in they came, or she blacked out. Maybe she was unconscious because of a combination of the cocaine and these other medications, which they're saying did not contribute.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. And among those other medications, Xanax, which we've talked about recently on this program, Benadryl, something called Flexeril, and they said specifically these other drugs did not contribute to her death. How do you know? I mean, as a
Exactly.
pathologist, you're the coroner, you're looking at it, that they didn't play any role.
I spoke to one of the assistants at the coroner's office last night who was part of this investigation. I specifically asked that question. You have Flexeril, which is a muscle, it relaxes your muscles. Xanax, which is anti-anxiety. You have Benadryl, which is an antihistamine. Each one of these can kind of space you out a little bit. And then all together, they can have an effect. Now, he specifically said, and this is new information that he told me last night, that the levels of those were either therapeutic or subtherapeutic. But then I said to him, okay, fine, they're therapeutic, but then in combination, can't they have an additive effect?
Right.
He said, well, we're going to have to wait 2 weeks to see what the final report shows about that.
So maybe.
And the last thing they need is some doctor 3,000 miles away.
Okay.